In this video, we will discuss finding respondents, and we will compare written and spoken surveys. Let's start by discussing respondents. Finding and choosing respondents can be challenging because respondents have to give their time to answer the survey questions. Many people will say no to a stranger, especially if they think it will take too much time. Often, people in parks, coffee shops, or community centers are more willing to share their time since they are already relaxing. There are two important things to consider when choosing respondents: number and variety. The more people, the better. 75% of respondents would be interested in buying my product is a more persuasive statement when there are 100 respondents instead of 4. 75% of 100 is 75, but 75% of 4 is only 3. It's important to find respondents with different demographic profiles. For example, men and women of many different ages. This can help researchers identify market niches when appropriate. For example, young women may not be interested in buying the same product as older men. Once a market niche has been identified, then surveys can be created specifically for that group. Should the researcher use written or spoken surveys? There are advantages and disadvantages to both. Let's look at written surveys first. A written survey is where a respondent receives and answers questions in writing. This can be done on paper or in an electronic file. What are the advantages? First, many respondents can complete the survey at the same time, and therefore it can be easier to collect more data faster. Second, it's easier to keep a record of individual response in writing. And finally, some respondents might feel more comfortable and confident doing the survey in writing. It can feel more private. What are the disadvantages? First, the researcher has very little interaction with the respondent and cannot judge if the respondent is a good source of data. Second, respondents may not answer all the questions and the data may be incomplete. Finally, the biggest disadvantage is the risk that respondents may not complete or return the survey, wasting the time of the researcher. Now let's look at spoken surveys. These are surveys where the researcher reads aloud the questions and answers to the respondent. As you can expect, the advantages are the opposite of the disadvantages of written surveys. In a spoken survey, the researcher has a lot more interaction with the respondent and can judge if the respondent is a good source of data. Respondents are more likely to answer all the questions, and they can ask for further explanation or information if needed. Most importantly, they're likely to complete the survey so that the researcher has the data. What are the disadvantages of spoken surveys? First, because they must be done one at a time, it takes more time and can limit the number of surveys that can be done. Second, the researcher must take careful notes so that individual responses are recorded accurately and clearly. Finally, some respondents may not feel confident in English, so that they would prefer to read the questions in writing. Let's review the ideas in this video. New product survey data is more objective and persuasive when there are many respondents and a large variety in the demographic profiles. Written surveys are easier to give to many people. Spoken ones allow for more interaction with the respondents.